Hello everyone, it's Lisa from Epic Yarn Gems. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this little spring basket. I had asked in a previous video that I had done for a yarn giveaway on what to do with this lollipop yarn. It is from Lamia. So a lot of suggestions were to make a basket, so I have been trying to figure out a good pattern for this. So I think I have a pretty good one that I like and I want to share with you today. So I used the Lamia Lollipop yarn. It is a 4-weight yarn. It is like a tape yarn as well. And the instructions show doing a 4 or 5 millimeter hook. I decided to use my 5 millimeter. I did try the 4, but I like the 5 better. So we're going to start here with the magic ring by wrapping it around our fingers and making the X, taking our hook under that first strand of yarn and pulling the second under the first and giving it a little twist. From here we're going to do a chain 2 and then we are going to put double crochets into the middle of that circle and we'll be doing 10 of the double crochets. Throughout this video, for some of the sections, I am going to do a speed up and a time lapse of the video. My older son says that's way cool and that I should try to do it, so I will do it a couple times throughout this video. Also, for me, I get a little seasick watching it go by that fast, but he keeps telling me that it's really cool and he likes how that looks when other YouTubers do that. So we'll give it a try. Let me know if it makes you seasick like me or you actually like to see the time lapse go by a little quicker. So just let me know in the comments, and we're going to finish up this 10 double crochets into the center of the magic ring. And once we finish that up, one of the most important things to do when you're doing a magic ring is to make sure that you have the proper count. So I want to make sure that I have 10, because if you start off with the wrong number throughout your entire project, you will always have the wrong number. So we're going to give a little tug on that tail and we're going to do a slip stitch join into that first stitch. And like I said, you want to make sure that everything is tight, and then once you've done your slip stitch join and made sure all the tails are pulled and everything looks tight, we're going to do a chain 2. And now we're going to start with our increase rounds, and we're going to go under the 2 V's of that same stitch that we put the chain to. And we are going to put 2 double crochets into each of those stitches. So you are going to go underneath the V and do 2 double crochets in each of those stitches. Once you have finished that all the way around, you should have a total of 20 double crochets, and you will finish that round like you will do most rounds in this project with a slip stitch join. I do have a couple of videos that show you how to do the magic ring, as well as a video on how to do increases in a round. Typically when I do the increases, it is for a beanie, so it's still the same theory. You are just going to increase each round so that as you move, your work gets larger and larger. So as we finished up that round, we had 20 double crochets. The next round, what we are going to do is we're going to increase again, starting off with the chain 2, going into the same stitch that we did the chain 2 with a double crochet in that stitch, and then the stitch next to it we're going to do 2 doubles. And we're going to do this all the way around. So you'll have a double crochet in one stitch followed by 2 double crochets in the next stitch. When you have completed this round, you will have a total of 30 stitches, and you will finish this round as well with a slip stitch join. Upon completing that, what we are going to do again is a chain 2, but this time for our double crochets we are going to go into those back loops only. So there is your front loop and there is your back, and you will be doing that into the same stitch that you did your chain 2 to start off with, and then all the way around you will be going into those back loops only, doing a double crochet. And what this is doing is it's flattening out the basket so that you have a nice flat piece when it sits and it's not rounded. And what this is making is just that ridge so that you can start moving the basket upward. And you can see it does make a little flat bottom there, a little flatter when you set it down. It does make it sit nicely, so it will sit flat. It won't be round and roll over, I hope. So next we're going to do is a chain 3. The third chain actually starts with a skip stitch, so we are going to skip that first stitch that has the chain 3 in it, and then we're going to go into the next stitch. We are going to do a double crochet into that stitch. Now I'm going to show you how to do the bead stitch. I keep saying bean. So around that double crochet, we're going to yarn over and go around that double crochet, pulling up a loop. We're going to continue to do that 3 times, and you should have a total of 7 loops on your hook. When you're done with that, you're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through the loops until you have 2 left on your hook. Yarn over and pull through those last 2. After that, we'll do a chain 1 and skip the next stitch. In the following stitch, we're going to do that double crochet followed by the bead stitch. I got to keep saying it slowly because I keep saying it wrong. And that again is just yarning over, going around that double crochet until you have 7 loops on your hook, yarning over and pulling through all the loops on your hook until you have 2, yarn over, and you're going to pull through those last 2. And that is truly the pattern for the center of this basket, where you're going to skip the next stitch and then you're going to do the bead stitch. So a couple pieces of advice as you're doing this bead stitch. This is one of the reasons why I used my 5mm hook, is to help make it a little looser, because if you have too tight of a tension when you're doing that, you are not going to be able to pull that last strand through all those loops on your hook. And also using this yarn, since it is more of like a tape yarn, the one thing that I did notice is that when I am going to pull that last loop through, I want to make sure that it is underneath the hook part of the hook, so that it doesn't get lost when you're pulling it all the way through. So those are just some little tips and tricks for doing this stitch. I also have a video for this, and I'll put a link down in the description and also probably up in the right hand corner that will lead you to that crochet video stitch, so that you can watch it more slowly, or if you want to practice doing it before you start this project. For this slip stitch join at the end of this round, you are going to go into the top of that chain 3 that we did to start this row. The next couple rows are going to be half double crochets. So once you get the slip stitch join done here, you are going to do a chain 2 to start the next round. But where you're going to place these half double crochets are in the stitches that are directly above the bead stitch, not in the areas where the chain ones were created. So there's where that chain 1 is. So we're going to go into the next 2 stitches with half double crochets, and we will not go into or put any stitch where those chain 1s are. So you are going to do that all the way around, and at the end you'll have a total of 30 stitches. And then just like the other rounds, we are going to finish off with a slip stitch join before we move on to our last row. And as we put that last slip stitch join in the top of the the first stitch that we did, that first half double crochet, we will be doing a chain 2 to start off with. That does not count as a stitch, and then we're going to go into that same stitch that we did that chain, and we're going to do a half double crochet, and then we're going to continue to do that all the way around. I want to thank everybody who suggested using this yarn to make baskets. I have never really made this type of basket, but as I was trying out different stitches and patterns, I think that these turned out pretty cute. And also the color that this lollipop yarn was just seemed very springy to me. And then as I was thinking of, what to use these for, I was thinking I could put maybe some jelly beans in them, or some chocolate eggs for Easter, or even maybe some milk bones or something for the gems, so that they could have a little spring treat. This last round you're not going to do a slip stitch join, but you're just going to join the top. So on your last stitch, what I like to do is the invisible join, where I take the yarn and go under the V and then go through the V on the side that had the yarn to start with. I'll put a link to the video on how I do this invisible join, but whatever works for you, please do that. You just need to make sure that the top is joined. And after we finish this, um, you can leave these baskets just like this, or if you want to add a handle, I'm going to show you how to do that. Now I'm going to warn you, the handle that I made is an I-cord. I am not very good at an I-cord, and I don't have a video for it because I'm still learning. So you may want to search I-cord on Pinterest or here to see actually how to do it. So I went down a hook size to a 4mm. The 5mm just made it way too loose. And you're going to start with a slip knot, and then you are going to chain 3. You're going to go back to the second loop from the end where your hook is. You're going to go into that chain, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You're going to leave that loop on your hook, so now you have 2. And now you're going to go into that third chain, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. And this is where it gets a little awkward. So you're going to slip off those last 2 loops, making sure that they stay loops. And you're going to hold them with your thumb and your forefinger. Then you're going to grab your yarn, yarn over, and pull that through the first loop. Then you're going to put that second loop back on your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop again. And then you're going to do that again for the third loop. Put it back on your hook, yarn over, and pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook again. So let's watch that one more time. We're going to take those last 2 loops off of our hook, hold them with our thumb and our forefinger, yarn over, and pull up a loop. Put the second loop back on your hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull up another loop, still holding that third loop. Now we're going to put the third loop back on our hook, yarn over, and pull up a third loop. And then you are just going to repeat this over and over until you get to the length that you desire for your handle. Like I said, I don't have a video for this yet because I am still learning. It is a bit awkward. My fingers don't seem to want to go where they're supposed to. So I'll do my best to show you here, but like I said, you may want to check other sources on how to do this. So the other thing as I was learning or trying how to do this was if you pull your work, so if you hold the tail end and you pull it, it does tighten them up. So after you do that I-cord, the last thing you're going to do is you're going to fold your little basket in half to find the halfway mark on both sides, and then you're just going to attach that I-cord to your basket sides from the inside. So once you have done that, you should have a completed basket with a handle. You can also not have a handle. It turns out pretty cute that way. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and leave me some comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Epic Yarn Gems and hit that little bell so you're notified when I post new videos. Down in the description, I'll also leave my other social media sites in case you want to check those out, as well as my email address if you want to drop me a line. And I want to wish you all peace, love, and happiness. Take care, and thank you so much for joining me and your continued support.